Kate, great to see you. Welcome to Popternative.
Thank you.
Uh, Here's the deal. I'm very interested in that script to screen journey because at some point you get this script even before going to camera on the Astronaut, and I feel like we have a three-headed monster at play here because it's got the thriller, horror, and sci-fi components all in one. What's it like, kind of reading all those elements like in the script and then seeing it come to life while you get to production on a movie like this?
Very exciting. I mean, I liked that there were different elements to the story, that it wasn't just like a straight up horror or thriller. It had all of it. And I thought it was very surprising, had lots of twists and turns in the script. So yeah, that's what attracted me to want to be in the film.
It's also interesting as well, right? Where, these genres have been around for a while. You have worked on these genres in the past, but what's it like working on a horror film or a thriller at a time where, a lot of things are heightened right now? The popularity of this content's heightened. There's different ways to scare people. Like, what's that like for you working in the last kind of like 3 to 5 years in this kind of world, so to speak, compared to past years?
I
Right?
haven't really done a horror film before, so I think this is kind of the first, or maybe this is the closest thing to like a horror genre.
Mhm.
But again, I don't feel like that's necessarily where I would categorize this,
Yeah.
necessarily. But yeah, I think it's, like I said, if it feels very different than other things that I've done, so that's what I was excited about. I was excited to be a part of it because it feels like a different tone.
Mhm.
And I do think it's got a lot of surprises in it, which is fun for an audience to experience.
Yeah, and I find it interesting as well because there's a lot of scenes that we see with your character, and then it goes to kind of run. The run time is like 3 to 4 minutes for the audience member, and then it goes to the next scene. And I find like it's interesting, right? Because that scene, even though we see it's like 3 4 minutes, that scene might have taken you kind of the whole day or like a couple of weeks to do like that one scene. When those big scenes happen, Kate, like those long scenes, do they feel like their own mini movie, mini project, or do they overall feel part of the Astronaut? Because I always find that interesting.
Yeah, they do sort of feel like certain sequences that, like, especially ones that take days. You saw all of the stuff in the woods towards the end took a few days, and it was like nights and cold, and that did all feel very, it felt like its own, like you said, mini sort of movie. And then all of the stuff in the house felt like that, a different part of it. And
Yep.
yeah, they all can sort of feel like their own thing. Um, which
Mhm.
is kind of fun. You go from one to the other.
Absolutely. There's so many different ways we watch things now. There's the binge, there's the going to the theaters, there's the film festivals, there's streaming, so many different ways. And I'm wondering, like, throughout your process of making something, right? Post production, pre production, and everything, do you ever think about how people are going to watch the content that you're making or producing? Does that ever come into play? Like the audience, like where they're going to watch something you're making? Have you ever think about that?
Yeah, I mean, as an actor, you have to think about it less than if you're producing it, right?
Mhm.
Or if you're directing it or whatever. But I my favorite thing is to go to a movie theater. I went to one last night. So I just I owe it my it's always my hope that people see things in the theater. I think that's the best, absolute best place to watch anything.
Mhm.
Um, so that's always the dream, is that people experience it in that way.
How separate are past things compared to something like The Astronaut? Like, do you bring mindsets or preparations from past roles or past projects to something like this, or are they completely separate once you wrap them?
No, yeah, for me, it's usually totally separate. I mean, like I had to research I played an astronaut before, but it was a totally different experience, a different, I needed to know different information for this. It was like a clean slate for me. So, yeah, I always feel like it's sort of like, starting anew.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.